one of the things that we found in recent years is there's been a steady decline in sharks. And, the sharks go away, and then pretty much the ocean is going to drastically change.
That's correct. I mean, if the sharks go away, everything's going to go away. It's a real problem. Most people don't understand how critical sharks are to the whole system. Sharks are in every ocean. Mm-hmm. Unlike other fish, which are just in parts of the ocean, one type of shark or another is in every ocean.
Yeah.
And within that area, they kind of keep everything in balance. And if you remove them, the whole thing just collapses. For example, you can see in the Sea of Cortez, when they removed the sharks, the squid exploded, basically wiped out everything else. Then they ate each other, and now you have a dead sea there. So you really can't remove the sharks from the system. And the problem is, in China, the middle class is growing, and they all want to have a bowl of shark fin soup.
Yeah.
And so up to 200,000 sharks a day are killed. Over 70 million a year for a bowl of soup.
Yeah, it's ridiculous when you think of that. It's really ridiculous.
And that's why I got involved with the white shark. I was like, okay, if we can explode the body of knowledge forward here and solve the puzzle of their lives, and then leverage their charisma to protect nurseries, which then protects everything in the nursery, all the game fish, and the recreational fishery explodes, and then create awareness around shark fin soup. That would be a good mission in life. I'm really just kind of chasing that smile on the deathbed kind of thing, trying to make a mark on the way.
Well, it's a good mark to put out there, because really it's one of the things that I think are, as humans, we need to be a little more, we need to have sustainable, a sustainable fishery is the best way to put it. It's all right, like you said, with Offshore Adventures, which, by the way, was a great show. I love the show.
Yeah,
that show. The thing I liked about it is, as you got kind of comfortable. This is not anything negative. You started to really tell a very good story every week about what you were doing, and I actually, at that point in time, I don't eat fish, but I enjoyed watching Chef. What was his name? Chef David, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Chef David do the cooking and other stuff. How did you meet your wife? Does she still do? Now, I asked you a question on Coast the other day. You probably don't even remember. I asked how was the wife and family. But does Melissa and Sarah still go fishing with you?
Oh, yeah, they do. But, not for white sharks, right?
Yeah. That would be crazy.
They love to fish. Sarah is almost 8.
That's crazy.
I know.
Yeah, we live out here in the mountains, and we have some ponds around our house, and I have the little Dora rod, and she absolutely crushes the trout.
Nice.
And then, of course, when we get out on the water, she fishes like crazy. And then she has a little sister who's 4.5 now. So,
congratulations.
They spend a lot of time on the water. I think it's important that everybody get their kids on the water, because if we don't do that, we're not going to have the next generation of kids to look after the fish.
Amen to that. Boudreaux, you had a question?
Yeah, Chris, with all the, sharks in general have tremendous amount of misconceptions about them, great whites in particular.
Yeah.
In your opinion, what is the one thing about these sharks, especially great whites, the misconceptions that's most damaging to their long-term survival?
That they're out there trying to, occasionally interact with people. You guys are fishermen. I think one of the things that's been really interesting for me on this white shark journey, and this isn't going to sound sexy, but this is the truth, and anybody who's a fisherman can understand it. The white shark, I remember when we caught the first one, you're wondering if the shark's going to do something different than any other shark or fish you've caught.
Yeah.
And they behave exactly the same. They just they're just a fish trying to do their own thing. And, the fact that they're, going to come at the boat or come at people is, I think, the biggest misconception, obviously, from the movies. But, it's tough on the white shark because they don't get sexually mature until they're almost in their mid-teens. So it's real easy to eliminate them all if you start catching the little ones.
Oh, yeah.
So I think the thing is their life is very long. They have very few babies. So they're really easy to remove from the system if you start putting much pressure on them.
Again, this is Chris Fischer. He's the Shark Wrangler. You see it on History Channels on Sunday at 11 o'clock for new shows. Tom, you had a question?
Well, yeah, to follow up what Boudreaux said, and you were talking about, the different characteristics of them, like not charging the boat and how they're going to react once you catch them. You said, I believe it's 50 great whites in 40 days was the goal, if I'm not mistaken, for you guys. So
50 sharks in 40 days, yeah.
And so how long on average was it once you hooked the shark that you brought it into the boat? And I know you guys were tagging it. And
that was my question.
I stole your question? Dang it, I stole Steve's question. Anyway, I was like
really
anxious.
good at it. No, we've gotten really good at it. Small sharks under 10 footers, we're catching them in 12, 13 minutes. The bigger sharks that get up in the 4,000 pound range, we might be catching them in 35 minutes. So what used to take us hours now takes minutes, and that's great because the fish recovers better that way.
Mm-hmm.
We're really not trying to wear them out. We're trying to get them to give up. And so they can recover and have more strength after they've been tagged. They're always in the cradle, only 15 minutes or less. And we've gotten really good at that on this past project down in South Africa that everybody's seeing on Wranglers right now. We had 12 different research projects going on in that 15 minutes while the shark was in the cradle. And we were collecting blood samples for hormone assays, also something really interesting. For the first time ever, Captain Brett had a swab, and he was getting bacteria off their tongue and teeth. And we're actually culturing the bacteria, live bacteria, out of the sharks' mouths right now to develop the first shark bite antibiotic because a lot of people lose limbs and die from secondary infection.
Really?
That is amazing.
Yeah, so there's all these things going on that people don't know are going on because it's not as sexy as the tracking, because the tracking really unlocks and solves the mystery of, where's their breeding area, where's their birthing area, and what are their migratory loops like because they're multiple years.
Yeah.
And so it's just so much is going on. So on this last trip, at first, we couldn't get all the 12 things done in 15 minutes, but after about the third shark, we had it down to 13 and a half minutes, and I said to the science team, I'm like, hey, you guys call another smart guy. We got a minute and a half to do some good here, figure something out. And they couldn't respond that quick. But the fact of the matter was that, 12 research projects in 13 and a half minutes on up to 50 sharks, is just kind of a paradigm shift in the rate of learning, a radical leap forward in knowledge, which then allows us to protect our future with policy.
Yeah. Now, you haven't had any, your success rate, none of them ever died, have they?
Well, in Wranglers, on this particular season, for the first time, we had to deal with that. And one of the things about Shark Wranglers that I wanted to do that you'll see, this is more like a movie on TV. I wanted to create a big kind of epic adventure to help people kind of understand what it was like to explore in 2012, because a lot of people almost don't even think exploration can happen in 2012. But, here we are exploring. Here we are advancing our understanding. It's a 400-million-year-old secret we're solving.
Yeah.
And the guys are laying their body parts on the line to do it every day. And we caught a shark early in our South African trip, and one of the sharks didn't make it. And rather than hide from that, I wanted to run right to it. I put it in episode 2 so people can understand how hard it is, what we're doing, how nothing and everything is not always controllable. And they're doing the blood work up on that shark right now, and it turns out it looks like that shark is or was anemic, which scientists didn't even know was possible.
Yeah.
So, there's a learning and a tragedy. It was just devastating for the guys, right? Because, like I said, they're laying their body parts on the line, and we don't get the information we need if the shark doesn't swim away.
Yeah.
And that was a little small shark. It appears that it wasn't going to really make it through natural selection anyway.
Yeah.
But no, it does happen. Look, everything is not perfect on the water. You're in South Africa. You got storms rolling up on you out of Antarctica, absolutely crushing you.
Yep.
Giant sharks coming at you, big waves. You're trying to do something that's never been done before. I could no longer play along with like the perfect documentary riding off into the sunset. It's incredibly hard.
Yeah.
It's never been done before. It's emotionally and mentally draining. And I wanted everybody to understand what that was like, even though it was a risk to our brand and our future.
Yeah. Well, that's the show's just amazing. Again, the show's on Sunday nights on History Channel, 11 o'clock.